Hey, we're leaving, Thomas.
You're listening to The Funny Thing Is with Brighton and Annika.
The show that starts with a question, ends with a song, and has a heck of a lot of conversation in between.
This episode of The Funny Thing Is podcast is brought to you by Local Laundry. Local Laundry is an apparel company that aims to build community in everything they do by representing where you come from, sharing stories from the community, collaborating with others, and they donate 10% of their profits to local charities each and every month. These guys are amazing. They make some of the comfiest gear around. We love wearing their stuff. It's so warm, so fuzzy, so comfortable. Everything from crew neck sweaters to hoodies, t-shirts, and snapback hats. And they really take pride in building community, working with other community builders to showcase those wanting to make a positive impact in so many ways. You can actually check them out on locallaundry.ca or on Instagram at locallaundry. And we have a very special offer for you guys from them. They're so generous. They have given us and our listeners a discount code, which is funny15, and you get 15% off the entire store, actually, which is amazing. So use discount code FUNNY15 for 15% off the Local Laundry store at www.locallaundry.ca. Hey!
Hey, Brighton.
How's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
Great.
Good.
You want to know what's something funny?
I do.
I've started to like coffee more.
Ooh.
And I know that excites you because I know
I love coffee.
you.
But like sugary coffee.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, can I have a black coffee because I
Yeah.
am cool like that?
I had the most acidic coffee in Victoria. And
Acidic?
yeah. And it
What
like,
does that even mean?
well, there's like levels of acidity in coffee.
Really? I thought coffee was totally basic. Basic. B.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good joke. That's funny.
Anyway, Starbucks at least is very basic. Oh my gosh, that's good. Okay. What? So you had an acidic coffee.
Yeah, and it made my tummy upset. That's my story.
I hate the word tummy. Okay,
Stomach.
let's get to the question of the day.
Okay.
But also, I am happy that you're on the coffee train.
Yeah,
Let's keep that moving.
We'll see if I can drink more of it. It still stresses me out and gives me anxiety, but
Well,
sometimes it's good.
That's
Sometimes you
good.
need anxiety. Yeah, so
what's the question of the day?
I
Brighton?
have the question for today. I'm excited about this one.
Okay.
Because I think there could be a lot of great conversation around this one.
Ooh.
Which TV character would I be?
Well, I don't have a specific one in mind.
It has to be a specific one.
No, I'm going to start by saying that you would be any lead male in a series that, you know, at the very last episode ends up with the girl. Because I feel like you're the one,
So like
I think
Ted
you'd be Ted
Mosby.
Mosby. Oh my gosh!
Yes!
You are Ted Mosby.
I love Ted Mosby. He's my
But
favorite.
a lot of people don't like him. So I'm glad that
I
you're
don't
embracing
care.
it.
I don't care. I love Ted Mosby.
Um,
I'd totally be Ted Mosby.
you would be a Ted Mosby because you're kind of like the nice guy,
Mm-hmm.
but you're still good looking and like girls want to be with you.
That's so sweet of you to say.
Well, thank you. I think you're a little cooler than Ted Mosby though. Like he was pretty.
I don't know. He was pretty cool. He wore tweed jackets. I have a tweed jacket. You know, he was an architect. I'm not an architect.
I feel like because there's not really. I'm trying to think of like sitcoms, of course, that like I grew up watching, and I don't see you as being anyone particular from Friends, but I like a Ted Mosby is probably perfect.
Yeah.
I already know who. I don't have like an exact character, but I feel like I would just be like your zany, crazy neighbor lady. Like,
Do you know who that is? I have it in my head. Phoebe.
oh yeah, but okay, no, but I'm not.
She's the one that picks up the guitar and goes, "Smelly cat."
Smelling cow. I feel you.
Yeah. That would be you.
But okay, this is my argument though, because Phoebe is like not all there.
I have it. What is her name? New girl. Zoe Deschanel.
Oh yes, I am Jess.
Jess.
But especially, I was Jess off of that at the beginning when she used to sing to herself all the time. She stopped doing that. Did you realize that? She used to be like, I like singing to myself a lot. and it was like the cutest thing. And she always be like, "It's Jess," or like, "You can do this, Jess." And I was like, "This is the best character quirk ever." And then after 3 episodes, it was gone.
I didn't realize that.
Oh my gosh! If you watch the first episode of New Girl, she is way quirkier in that than what she ends up being. I mean, she's still great, and I love her, but I am definitely similar to Zoe Deschanel in that, because especially when she's like, "I don't trust people that don't like desserts." I'm like, I feel the same way. And then she's like, "And yes, I write checks and they have little farm animals on them." I was like, I want those checks. And also, she was wearing the same dress that I own in that episode.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
She's
a great character.
I can also see you just like out of the blue not knowing that you were dating your cousin.
Oh, does that happen to her?
Yes, and it's hilarious.
Oh gosh.
Her and Robbie.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
So they're like dating and like hanging out, and they're like finally a thing, and then the reveal episode finds out that they're cousins.
Oh my gosh.
And it's so weird.
That is weird. I also I can relate a lot to the character of Elaine on Seinfeld.
Okay.
Also Kramer. Because most of the time I come over here, I'm like, "Hey Brighton, you got some food?" And then I just like, I'm doing the impression of Kramer right now, but you can't really see me. But like,
totally
just he's out to lunch and just comes in and is like, "I need this," and then leaves. And also Elaine, who just is never going to be that coy, shy woman, but she is endearing in her own way. And I like to think that I'm a bit charming from time to time. And also, hilariously, I have recently become obsessed with Seinfeld and Jerry Seinfeld as a comedian, like 20 years later than I should have.
I need to start watching Seinfeld.
Oh my gosh.
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah. No, it's on Apple TV.
Oh, okay. I need to start watching that because I am obsessed with comedians and cars getting coffee right now. And I think that's half of the reason why I'm like getting into coffee, because I'm just like, oh, Jerry
it always looks so
cool.
good.
I don't understand how they make the most mundane things look so beautiful in that show.
Yeah, I think Jerry Seinfeld is legitimately one of the funniest. I really like his style of comedy.
Yeah.
And I like learning about the other comedians though on the show, because there's even people like Alec Baldwin, who I never thought of as a funny person, even though like he's funny in 30 Rock. He was hilarious. And I also like even seeing people that you think are going to be really, really funny, but are like much more serious in real life. I'm becoming fascinated with comedy as a thing right now.
What I find amazing is, and I'm the exact same way. Like, I think it'd be so interesting to like be a stand-up comic, because it's just.
Oh, I can basically do it. Here we go. Ready? Like, what's the deal with
fish?
They're always rolling it up and calling it sushi. Yeah. That's a great bit right there.
Totally. But
that's what they say. They're like, "Oh, it's a bit."
Yeah. Yeah. What I find crazy though is how is the parallels with songwriting though. Like I never realized how, you watch your favorite sitcoms or you watch Saturday Night Live, and the amount of effort and time that goes into writing like a bit is very similar. And then people like co-write bits with other comedians.
Yeah, and then when people are like, "Oh, let's edit it. Let's take this line out. Let's say this instead." That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
But also I think comedy is the scariest profession in the world.
Oh yeah.
And people are like, "Oh, like you're musicians, like you have to be so vulnerable on stage," and like, but the thing is, at least when you're on stage as a musician, like if somebody doesn't like you, they're not gonna boo you off the stage.
No.
And they're not gonna be like in the middle of the song like, "We hate you." And also like you can kind of say to yourself as a musician, like, that audience didn't like it, but I creatively express myself. Whereas comedy, it's like you're either funny or you're not, and if you're not, there's no purpose.
The other thing there though too is like after you finish a song, everybody claps.
Yes.
Regardless of if they don't like it, they sort of like it, it's meh, or they love it, everybody claps.
Okay,
but as a comedian, you have to get the laugh, and you have to get the full committed laugh, or else it's just silence or like just giggles.
Okay, speaking though of like everybody has to clap, this makes me think of standing ovations.
Yes.
And I have a bit of an issue with them.
Okay.
Or I'm just curious, like, how often do you give standing ovations? And do you stand up if like 50% of the people stand up? Or do you really think to yourself, do I think this deserves a standing ovation?
I have started to this is more of like a deeper personal thing.
Okay.
Of like just
there.
like being more confident in like myself, in like what I like,
your
what
choices,
I don't like my preferences, and like just being confident in them. You know what I mean? And going like, if I'm the only one, because you always see that like old guy who doesn't care, but he loved that song and he's up right away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just want to be that guy.
See, and I think I'm the old woman who never stands up because I'm like, this didn't deserve one.
But I'm like, if I really enjoyed it and it connected with me, and then that artist did their job.
But is that enough to warrant a standing ovation?
It depends how good it is. It depends that emotional response. Like,
yes, I agree.
Like if it hits that chord, pun intended, then yeah. Like it's just showing that appreciation.
Okay, but this is my question. Like, how often do you give standing ovations?
I don't know.
Well, I'm honestly asking this because, like, I remember I was in New York and I went to a lot of Broadway shows, and it's funny because when you're growing up, you think Broadway people are flawless and they never make mistakes and they're like perfect. And I saw one show that was like very pitchy at parts, like was not a great script, and it was like because it was Broadway, people were like, "Well, of course this is good," and they just stand up. And I'm kind of one of those where I won't stand up right away, and then at the very, like, if everyone's standing up when it's like I've waited so long, I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm not trying to like make a statement and be like, but then like you said, I'm trying to be more confident in myself. Is like, to me, a standing ovation is the equivalent of like a 20% tip. It's like, you didn't just do your job, you like went above and beyond and created, like you said, an emotional expression.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm at so many things now where people just stand up, and I really want to be like, no, if we gave this many people standing ovations, they're going to become meaningless.
Yeah, and I feel like the other thing is like it's also hard for us because as artists and songwriters and performers, like that's stuff we see all day, every day. And and it's also like we hold the artists that we really believe are like the greatest and really inspired us on this super high pedestal. And if people don't meet that, like, that's the bar.
Yeah.
Right? Like for me it's Keith Urban or Garth Brooks, and it's just like that, those shows just like bring something out in you. Same with you and Stevie Wonder and Adele. You're going like, that's the bar you're holding people to.
Yes.
Right? Where I feel like,
so when I see a community theater production of, Annie, I'm not standing up. Okay.
Yeah. Unless it's your kid, then I'd be like,
that's my exact point.
Why?
My kid will not. Oh, of course. Have you met my father?
I know your dad.
Okay, so I come from a family where it's like, a standing ovation. I think. I mean, he stood up. What was the last show where I was like, the whole thing is he only stands up if he really thinks it deserves it.
Did he stand up at our EP release party?
Yes, I'm sure he did. But everyone was standing, so that's kind of
he had a chair.
Yeah, no, he definitely stood up. And the thing though is, I mean, even after that show, he'll come up to me and be like, "That was incredible. That was your best show yet. Meet me tomorrow and we'll go through the positives and the negatives and brainstorm." Like, and he's not a stage dad at all.
Yeah.
But he's very much an analytical person. And like my growing up, it was like when I did get a standing ovation, I remember he stood up for Seussical the Musical when we did it at Straywick Theater. And High School Musical, he also stood up for, because now looking back, that show was not that good. But seeing, I think I personally had improved a lot. Like, I guess I would stand up for my kid if it was like my kid did an amazing job.
Like
but not just like, oh, you played Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
No.
Standing O.
No, I agree.
And I feel like
I think it's just like
it means a lot when it happens.
No, exactly. And that's the thing. It's like giving a participation trophy in sports and stuff. Like that's the thing where it's like, okay, you can't do any wrong. You are my golden child.
And that's
like,
terrible.
Nothing can happen. And I'm like, I don't think it's healthy.
I remember when I was auditioning to work on cruise ships, and my parents had been like working, had gone on a lot of cruise ships, and they had seen a lot of piano bar entertainers. And so I remember asking my dad, kind of seeking out some encouragement. And I was like, so I put in my application, like, do you think I'm going to get in? And my dad was like, no. And I was so upset. And I was like, Dad, oh my gosh. And then, but he was like, it's not that I don't think you have the talent or that you don't deserve it. It's just like, I've never seen a 21-year-old female on a cruise ship playing. So chances are I don't think it's going to happen. And then when I did get it, I'll never forget, he was on the phone and he was like, that's tremendous. Wow. And it's like, it's not that I've always wanted to prove him wrong because he doesn't have faith in me. He's just like a very logical person.
Yeah.
And I think you have that kind of in your family as well with your parents, the dichotomy of like...
Yeah, my dad is very similar.
Yeah. And then our moms are like, you guys are stars.
Yeah, no, I think like what I love about my dad is like he's like, you can do whatever you want to do. Like it doesn't matter what it is, and you may fail 100 times, but the 101st time you may get it,
Right.
kind of thing.
What time are we on with Leaving Thomas? Are we almost there? I'm hoping so.
I think it's we're achieving the things that we want to achieve and are still climbing.
Well, we've made
slowly but
progress,
surely.
for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like we look at where we were. What was it? What is the date today?
3 years ago, about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like we weren't playing festivals. We certainly weren't like
know.
playing the main stage at Big Valley Jamboree.
I know.
Neither of us had even been to a music festival.
I know.
And,
That's true.
and so no, it is great to have parents that like believe in you, and just also I think the biggest thing is genuinely care,
Right.
because the fact that like your dad takes you back and goes like decompresses or goes through the entire show
Yes.
and what can be better and all that kind of stuff. Like my dad does the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, he'll give me his 100% honest opinion, but like it's constructive and it's not just you should have done this better, you should have
No,
done this better.
yeah.
It's a lot of like
My dad's favorite line is, I'm not telling you what to do, but what you could think about. And then I'm always like, okay. He's like, this is just a big idea stage. I'm just throwing things out there. And
Yeah.
like, he is I don't want to say he's the shyest person, but he's not a performer, right? Which is
Right.
why I think it's funny. But in that way, he can also see things from an audience member's perspective. Whereas I
Absolutely.
think sometimes you get stuck in like, as a performer, you want to do something that doesn't actually translate that well.
Well, how many times? I think like the EP release show is like the best example of that, because we had a lot of like technical issues.
Right.
We had a lot of miscues. Like things did not go as planned, and we had
I came off the stage and was crying.
and we had done a lot of stuff to plan and prepare for that show, and it was just kind of one of those things where we knew every single little thing that was going wrong.
I know.
But the fact that certain things didn't work out at the beginning, and then we ended up playing a song that wasn't in our set, that was acoustic randomly as our second song while we figured out the tech issues, was like a really cool moment. And
yeah.
watching the video back, it's really cool to like see the reaction.
Even though I fully have like crazy eyes, well, because I'm like, what is happening?
Oh yeah, we all did. It was like, and it was so
yeah.
funny watching the boys like try and figure out where they were gonna go and
I
stuff. Like,
know.
but really, as an audience member, to think that like the first thing your dad said when he said to me, he was like, "That is the best I've ever heard you to,"
I know.
and like that is
That's
the
the
best
funny
show I've
thing,
ever
right?
seen. And we were like, we're just so in it that it's hard to remove yourself from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of music, shall we talk about our songs for the day?
Yeah.
I'm going to start off
Go
with,
for it.
since we were talking about Stevie Wonder, I'm just going to go with a classic. And this is off of his definitive collection. It's a song called Livin' for the City. It's like 7 minutes long or 11 minutes. It's a long song.
Wow.
There's a whole monologue in it. Check it out. I saw him live in Las Vegas, and he's one of my favorite performers of all time. So get that whole album, Stevie Wonder, the definitive collection. You will not regret it.
I think what we should probably do is like put the link to like the Spotify
We should.
in the show notes.
That'd be good.
We should do that.
Yeah.
Mine today is Till Summer Comes Around by Keith Urban. Keith is like my go-to. I have probably said it a million times, but like I had him painted on the side of my goalie mask when I played because I love him so much. But like what I love about Till Summer Comes Around is the audio and like the ambiance that they set before and after the song. It's like actually you can hear the waves, you can hear the carnival
Oh,
rides,
cool.
you can hear people
I haven't
laughing.
actually listened to it.
Really?
I should listen to
At
it.
the very beginning, it's like probably 5 seconds,
Down
and then it
intro.
falls into like it's this like almost like a reverse guitar swell sort of thing where it just like falls into the first opening guitar line.
See, I
It's
bet we never
so
hear that on the
good.
radio.
No, not at all.
Oh, that's why I should.
And I don't
listen
think
to
it was a single, but it's just like it's such a good song. It's just one of the best storytelling songs ever, in my opinion. So
I'll look it up, man.
yeah, cool.
Well, guys, that's it for The Funny Thing Is. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.